God! God! God, on my soul, I'm gonna sue the y'all out, God.
Cops have a duty to protect people from crime and danger. But what happens when they become a danger to the people they're supposed to protect? Here are instances where bully cops attacked the wrong suspects and ended up regretting it.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on a second. I want to explain something to you real quick, all right?
Hey.
So, you call a 911 like...
Late in the night, some cops got a 911 call from Ebony Romantic, saying she was in danger and that her boyfriend had taken her 2 dogs. But when they finally showed up, Ebony acted in a way that made them pretty uncomfortable, something they definitely didn't expect, especially after coming out to help her. But trust me, there is way more to this story than it seems.
Are you calling me because they
Can you hang up the phone?
Do you need medical attention?
No. Alright, thank you.
We're here. So how can we help you?
I don't need you here. I need you to go get my dogs. No, you're not? Okay, thank you.
Hold on a second. I want to explain something to you real quick, all right?
Hey.
So, you call a 911 like the way you did? So far.
I bet you were surprised by Ebony's reaction and probably wondering why anyone would act like that when the cops came to help out, especially when she's the one who called them, right? Let's watch more of the video and you might start to understand why. Let me say, Ebony had more than a good reason for acting this way.
I reported my dogs. If you're not gonna get my dogs, get off my
I
property.
need to explain something to you.
I don't need you to explain.
You calling us the way you are?
If you want to explain something to
Criminal
me,
offense.
can you pass? Can you pass the test?
Pass what test?
Can you pass the test?
I can pass any test, yes. What
I'm
test
sorry.
are you trying to have me pass?
I'm sorry. Get off my property. You're not gonna get my dogs. Get the off my property. Mine was stolen. I paid Nappy's vet bill.
I can explain some options for you.
I don't want options. I don't want your dog.
Okay.
And you're not gonna do that. So get the
Ebony greeted the detectives with complaints, accusations, and some pretty creative insults. But as you can guess, that was just the start. She was mad because she had called 911 7 times before, and the cops hadn't shown up. Instead of going straight to her boyfriend to get her dogs back, they came to her place, which she felt was just a waste of time.
You're not gonna get my dog. So please, just leave. Okay? You're not gonna get my dog?
So,
I don't care what you have to say. You're not gonna get my dog, right?
but you don't care what
That
I
I
have to say.
paid for?
But you don't care what I
What
said.
do you have to say to me?
So,
What the do you have to say to me
so
that I don't already know?
I don't think you do know, honestly, ma'am.
Oh my God. What? They know I'm black or something? Now you gotta send 5 of you? Get these away from me.
Do you know?
You're not gonna get my dog? Get these away from me. You aren't what they
I want you to
go
do-
f***ing
Here's an
patrol
option.
some dumb spot.
Here's
Go
an option
patrol
you can look
Palm
at.
Coast like you have been. Go gang up on the f***ing city like you have
Here's an
been.
option that you
Do
have.
your pointless f***ing work and don't do a thing for me because you're not gonna do shit for me.
Can I explain something?
I paid $3 grand for this dog and for my ex to come in and take him. You, no offense, you, go post up,
Yep.
get the out of my yard. Nobody needs you. It's a civil matter.
Ebony got angrier and angrier as time went by, and honestly, I get it. While the cops were sitting there with her, her boyfriend had already taken off with the dogs a while ago, which was the whole reason she called them in the first place. But if you think things couldn't get any worse, just wait to see what happens when the supervisor shows up.
No, here's the deal. I'm super. Stop wasting my time in our stores. Stop wasting our calling
Don't
911.
gang up on somebody else, you racist.
If you call again, you're gonna go to jail.
You
Okay.
work for me, you.
It's for you.
This is what the you do. You're a civil hell.
Got
Get
it.
the out of here. Get off my yard. Go post up. Go wait waste your time sitting somewhere else.
You're wasting my time right now by 911 over and
over and over. You don't work for dispatch, you fat. You sit in a yard. Shut the up and get the what the.
The supervisor found Ebony in a bad mood, and his arrival only made things worse. She still couldn't understand why the cops were hanging around outside her house instead of going after her dogs. But when Ebony told the cops they were working for her, which isn't wrong, considering they're public servants, it bruised their egos. That's when they decided to show their true colors.
Did you answer phone calls? No. Get the out of here. You're not needed. They have it under control. They have it well under control. Get the out of here, you skin-headed, you short, you fat, you slow, you can't even pass a test. Go join the army, go be in the reserves, but you can't do that. But you can't do that. That's why you army are. Get the out of here. Nobody needs you. Nobody needs you.
So, I'm gonna explain something.
And go run my tags, make sure you see me, make sure you get me out there because you have nothing better to do. Get your bald-headed out of my... Get off my... No, shut up. Hold on one second.
Shut up.
Shut up. I can't. Get off my property.
I'm not leaving until they're done.
Get off my property, you fat...
What option you
You
have?
short little fat...
Did you hear a cop tell Ebony she had no other option? Do cops really have such a high opinion of themselves that they think they can act however they want just because someone else has no other choice? Ebony wasn't about to let it slide, though. She kept pushing back against the cops in her own way, refusing to back down.
Okay, and
Shut up. Get off my property.
Misuse
I'm
of
off...
911, which is a criminal offense. All right.
Get off my property.
And disorderly conduct.
I am.
Can you just forward charges for misuse of 911?
Yep. I gotta confirm her picture.
Yeah, just look up for David. Then take recordings they sent us and just attach it to the
It's
file.
not misuse, you dumb. My dog is gone. That I paid $3 grand for. He's gone.
Well, we tried.
So you.
Look up
You're
your-
not worth a.
Look up
You're not worth a.
Look up
Get off my property. Get the out.
However, the fact that she humiliated the cops and threw some pretty harsh words at them only bruised their egos even more. Even though they tried to leave, their wounded pride wouldn't let them. So they decided to come back one more time to confront Ebony. But what happened next was something none of you would have expected.
You and you. Get the off. You think you're so hot because you're man on my property? Get the out, you. Go each other.
Hope you
Go
find your-
each other.
Have a good night.
Go.
Good luck finding your dog. Enjoy your night.
I'm throwing rocks at my dog. I didn't throw rocks. Get away from me! I didn't throw rocks at you! No, I didn't! I threw rocks at my yard! I threw... Ow! Ow! I threw rocks at my yard! Ah! Ow! Ow!
One of the cops claimed Ebony had thrown rocks at them when they turned their backs, and all the other cops, as if they had been waiting for something like this, rushed back to her. In a blink of an eye, Ebony was in handcuffs. She broke down, crying because she didn't know what had happened. Do you think this made the cops stop and think for a second?
No! Look where the rocks went! Ah!
Stop resisting now. You're under arrest.
Look where the rocks went!
You go right at us.
No, you're lying!
You definitely threw him at us.
No, my dog's in there. Mom, please.
Nope.
I did it. I
You
did
did to
it.
yourself. You absolutely did.
No, because there's no. You know what? I have cameras. I have cameras in my front yard. I didn't throw rocks at you. I threw them down, and then it's on my camera. So, fine. It's on my camera. You've done this before to my ex. I didn't, you know I didn't throw rocks at you. They didn't even touch you.
Everyone who said no is absolutely right. I honestly think these cops were pleased to have arrested Ebony, even though they knew deep down they had made up a reason to do so. This was just their way of showing who was in charge. In reality, they were just bully cops going after the wrong person, when all they needed to do was go after her boyfriend.
You hurt them, and you hurt my dog is in there. Please let me tell my mom. I threw the rocks at my. God, you dirty. You can't take me talking to you. You have to do this to me? I threw the rocks at my yard. I don't know my dog. My dog.
Have a seat in the car.
My baby.
Come on, take a seat.
No, my baby. Okay, but my baby. I didn't. You know I didn't. Just like you know I didn't. It's just skinhead.
Put your feet in the car.
Nobody's even out.
Before we jump back into the video to watch the rest of the incident, I'm curious, whose side are you on so far? Honestly, I think the cops are overreacting. I'm not saying Ebony was totally in the right, but let's be real, she's upset about her dogs. The cops could have handled this much better.
Nobody is here. I have to call. Please, I know.
Have your chance to call. Get in the car.
No, I don't have any shoes. The jail's dirty. I didn't do anything to you, and it's gonna come on camera.
We're gonna drag you in the car.
And you attacked my door.
If I have to pull you in this car, I will. But I don't want to.
But I
Put
know
your feet
because
in
you
the
know
car.
I did
I'll keep talking to you if you put your feet in the car.
Get that skinhead the out of here, you racist. You racist mother. Yeah, record me. He's racist. And I threw rocks in my yard and he's... Oh, you racist.
Come on, have your seat in the car. Come on, put your feet in the car.
I threw rocks in my yard.
If you're still unsure whether you should side with the cops or Ebony in this situation, what you're about to see next might help you decide who the real villain is here. Spoiler alert, no woman deserves to be treated like this, especially not by cops. If you're not sure what I mean, take a look and see for yourself.
I'm allowed to do that. It's on video! It's on video! God, please. Please let them see the light. Please let me see the truth. Dear God, please. You know I didn't throw anything at them. You know I didn't throw anything at them, God. Please, I knew better.
Now that you've seen the cops heartlessly shove Ebony into the car, what do you think of them? To make things worse, these cops believe they were doing the right thing. I don't know what they expected Ebony to do when they saw them standing at her door instead of her boyfriend's. I mean, she didn't call him over for a chat, right?
I knew better! I knew better, and it's on video! I knew better! It's on video! I threw it straight down! I will show you the video! I will show you the video! It's on video! What does he not get? What is it? It's on video! And you're ignoring me and nobody's here. My mommy says I don't trust you. I am black! And nobody's here. I am scared! I am scared! It's on video! My dog is here!
All of this was too much for Ebony. She was experiencing some of the worst moments of her life in the back of the police car. Scared, crying, maybe even having panic attacks, and honestly, who could blame her? Just imagine getting arrested after simply asking for help.
And you're deleting
However, the cops weren't the least bit moved by the scene, and let's be honest, it's tough to watch. In fact, it seemed like they enjoyed it, feeling powerful after Ebony dared to question their authority, because if that wasn't the case, wouldn't at least one of them have responded to what she was saying?
I have to take a board exam. This is good. Why? And I didn't even do it. You guys are just mad. You're mad because of what I said to dispatch. You're mad at my freedom of speech. God! No! No! I did! Mom! Mom! I cannot deal. I can't. I need my mom. And it's her birthday and I don't want to do this.
Very quickly, Ebony's panic grew as she realized this was no game. She was actually under arrest. Because the cops decided it, her reputation and future could be on the line. She started begging the cops, but it didn't change the situation much at all.
My God! And this is so embarrassing. Like, I have to... Please, this is gonna ruin me getting my... This is gonna ruin... I literally have to take my state boards to be an OTA. And I'm really good at it. And then you wonder why people don't like you. It will go viral. It is on camera. The skinhead isn't even here. You look like a normal person, and I tried. Like, I'm sorry. I even looked at you and I said, I'm sorry. I didn't. Oh, I just want my dog. It is so hard to co-parent with. Like, I can't imagine. I mean,
Since the cops ignored everything Ebony was saying, she got even more frustrated. Now she felt like she had nothing left to lose. She decided to let her anger out and say exactly what was on her mind. And it's clear that the night was far from over, because she still had plenty more to say to the cops.
Kids, because I can't do it with my dog. Please, like, that's all I'm struggling with. It's just missing something I love. Oh my God, my mom is gonna hate me! My mom is gonna hate me! I just finished school! My mom is gonna hate me! Oh my God! Ah! Oh, I hope you get cancer! I hope you get stage 4 cancer! I hope you have a kid and you get to enjoy it for 6 months and then the kid dies. Do you understand me? I hope you have a miserable life.
I bet you didn't expect that kind of curses Ebony was throwing at the cops, but as bad as it all sounds, think about it. She just wanted the cops to feel the same unfair treatment she was feeling. Stuck in the back of a cop car with no way to change her situation, she let her frustration show in the only way she could.
You are miserable. I don't deserve this and I don't even have shoes on my feet. My mom has no clue where I am. No! I don't need to be here! And you know it, you racist! Can you at least tell me what you're saying my arrest is for? What is it? The times 3? 3 felonies! You're gonna ruin my future! It's on video when you know it! Assault! What did you feel? Tell me, officer, what did you feel? How hurt are you? You drove me here just fine. Get that on camera. You know that's wrong!
The cops weren't about to sit there and just take Ebony's harsh words without a response. They knew exactly how to get under her skin, and since her tears hadn't fazed them up until now, they decided to push her buttons even more by saying one thing she didn't want to hear. You could tell these cops were well practiced in this kind of game.
Like, I'm trying to have a good future. university because I just graduated the OTA program. You can look it up. This is not right. Please, I'm begging you. Please, you're ruining my future. You are ruining my life. No, this is not right. This is not right. Yeah, I'm gonna get a lawyer. And I'm gonna make you guys look bad in court. You know this isn't right, and you know I will win because I have it on video.
They told her she'd be charged 3 times, and with that, they completely broke her down. I can't stand cops like these who seem to enjoy feeling powerful and superior over someone vulnerable, or in this case, a woman. They were willing to do anything just to keep Ebony begging as long as possible. In their heads, they were probably feeling like gods because of it.
No, please, I need my mom. I can't. I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm not. Okay. I'm having a panic attack. I need medical attention. I'm asking you for medical attention. No, I'm not. I'm not. You know this is fair. Like I my mom is so bad. She knows I wouldn't do anything to you. You guys, oh my God, you're so dirty. You're so dirty. My uncle's in the NAACP.
Ebony was charged with 3 counts: assaulting a cop, abusing 911, and resisting arrest, while the cops faced no consequences. Do you think that's fair? Officers McCarthy and Carter from the Sunrise Police Station in Florida got a call from a local convenience store about an argument between a group of teenage boys. The store owners mentioned there wasn't any violence, just a heated exchange. But when the cops showed up, the situation escalated faster than you'd expect.
Oh, you know what happened. Stop playing crazy.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, he wasn't there like that running the bank.
So you here earlier?
If I would have lost my life, he would have been looking.
Yo, talk to us.
No, it's not.
Yo, what was going on earlier?
It's not.
But you guys were obviously, you guys were on freaking camera.
Alright, it's not. Why would you send the phone?
Yo, come over here for a second.
What?
Let's come talk.
Now come over here.
No.
What, we don't want to talk about that situation.
Yo, you can either talk to us now or you can talk to us.
Come back over here.
What's up?
Where you going, bro?
I don't want to talk about
Get over here.
While the cops were watching the video, 2 guys walked into the store. The owner told them that these were the 2 during the argument. Officer McCarthy tried to talk to them to get more details about what had happened, but they wouldn't answer her questions. And that bruised her ego. So she decided to follow them and take things up a notch.
All you had to do was
Cause on my soul, I'm gonna sue the all out, cuz. A nigga put a stick out on me and I tase me, cuz. I don't wanna talk about it, I don't wanna talk about it, cuz. Y'all like geeky, cuz I don't got no type of weapons on me, no nothing, nigga just got off work, cuz. Fuck, cuz.
Go ahead and take this out.
Huh?
Fire
Nigga
rescue's
just-
gonna come. Fire rescue's coming.
Cuz. Now you wanna, cuz, come on, cuz.
You have a taser prone.
Just stay still, okay?
You should've never did that.
Just stay
I
still.
didn't wanna talk. I didn't wanna talk. I don't have to talk to you.
Stay still. Just stay still, you okay?
Cuz, don't talk to me on that sweet cuz. If I didn't want to talk to y'all, no, bro. If I didn't want to talk to y'all, I didn't have to. Y'all gonna tase me because I don't want to talk to y'all. Y'all racist as fuck.
No. There's guns in the convenience store. You were in there. That's why you're cuffed. You don't want to talk to
Just
us.
stay still.
Do you see me with a gun?
Officer McCarthy went ahead and arrested one of the guys. Maybe she felt powerful at that moment, but she also came across like one of the bully cops who go after the wrong suspects. All she showed with her actions was that she didn't know the law well enough and thinks too highly of herself. But that was just the beginning.
You see me with a gun? You didn't see me with a gun? Okay then.
We can talk about. We didn't finish getting the video.
My shirt was off, girl. I didn't even have my shirt all the way on.
Yo.
You would have seen the pistol.
Stop.
No.
That's the reason.
You're not tripping, girl.
Why you don't want to listen or comply. That's why you're in cuffs. That's why
you're racist.
We're doing an investigation.
You're racist.
Okay.
What the y'all just tased me for no reason. Bitch, if I don't want to talk, I don't have to talk to y'all. Y'all got cameras, y'all. If y'all see on,
we have cameras.
Now look, when y'all see on the cameras, I didn't have nothing to do with it. I'm suing y'all on my soul. I don't want you to touch me, Carl.
You have 2 prongs. You're gonna stay on your side.
Bro, get off me, bro. Stop
right
touching
here.
me, Carl. You talking about you right here, tase me for no reason. You trying to be sweet and y'all just tase me for no reason, Carl.
Explain why.
You just stay just like that.
God, you racist as God.
You Christopher?
Bitch, that's what it says.
Okay. Just making sure.
No
I
respect
got your
for
ID right
sign
here.
cracker. Y'all like racist as fuck, Carl.
No.
What you taping for?
Resisting.
Resisting what?
Investigation.
Cause if y'all
Officer McCarthy clearly thought she was above the law, making up a whole new reason for the arrest. Resisting investigation. I mean, that's not even a thing, right? And all that, she forgot the very one important detail. This guy and his friend weren't even part of the investigation. The workers hadn't called the cops because of them in the first place.
if y'all wasn't trying to slam me, Carl, would have got my ass on the floor, Carl.
Because you didn't want to cooperate.
Carl.
It's as simple. You weren't in cuffs, and that's what happened now. You're doing an investigation. You obviously
I had
watched the
nothing to
description
do
here
with
on
that.
TV.
Bro, what? Cause y'all lie don't make no sense, Carl.
You gotta get up, alright? Stand up.
Careful.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay. Just don't hit the prongs. Put your foot up. There you go. Alright, take a seat.
Alright, go ahead and just lay on your side, alright? There you go.
Who's riding with him? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, where
Who's
is
riding?
Berryman? Where's
I
Berryman?
don't even think he showed up, did he?
We're okay, there's nothing else like this. We were working on video inside.
You don't need to be a law expert to know that everyone has the right to stay silent, and the young guy who got arrested was doing just that. But clearly, Officer McCarthy didn't get the memo, which is pretty sad considering she swore to protect everyone's rights when she started her career. Yet on this day, she went and broke that promise.
A bunch of kids brought guns inside the store, and we were working on it, and then one of them came back in with his brother, so that's why. So there was like a rifle that one of the kids had, so that's why we went out with him, and he didn't want to.
Oh, this is 22 with the rifle?
Yeah. So it's stemming from this. We were trying to get video from the guy,
And the kid
and then
walked
they
in.
walked back in. And then the guy's like, these are the kids, so. Really? You sure you don't want me to move your car? So that's why.
If you're not quite sure what went down here, let's take a step back and go through how it all unfolded. As we watch the body cam footage, we'll also listen to the conversation between Corey Zinman, the guy's public defender, and Officer McCarthy after the arrest. Trust me, you want to hear all of her excuses.
We're here on the case of State of Florida versus Christoph Wilson. This is case number 22005199. MM10A. Today's date is December 9th. The time's about 1:02 p.m. and present for the public defender is Corey Zinman. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and spell it clearly for the record.
Colleen McCarthy, COLLENMCCARTHY.
Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, Officer McCarthy. Is it officer?
Yes.
All right. My name is Corey Zinman. I'm the assistant public defender that's been assigned to this case. At the outset, because this is a remote deposition, I have to ask a few preliminary questions. First, are you currently by yourself in a private place and outside of the earshot of all others?
Correct. I'm in my police vehicle and nobody else inside.
Perfect. If at any point during this deposition that changes and you're no longer in private, just let me know and we will pause until you are.
Okay.
All right. Can you hear and see me clearly?
Yes.
All right. If at any point during this deposition you can no longer hear or see me clearly, just let me know and we'll pause and fix the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you ever given a deposition before?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any questions about what we're about to do here today?
No.
All right. As a...
Corey wanted to look into what had happened and show that the arrested boy, later identified as Curtis Wilson, was treated unfairly and arrested without solid legal grounds. By then, Officer McCarthy probably realized she had gone way too far, but it was far too late. She should have thought about all this a lot sooner.
Reminder though, can you just try to answer questions with like yes or no, or just with verbal responses? Because with it's hard for the court reporter to get down the actual responses.
Yes.
Thank you. And as well, if at any point, well, actually, let me ask, did you write any reports in this case?
Yes. I was the arresting officer.
Right, so you wrote the complaint affidavit?
Yes.
And did you write any other reports?
I wrote the probable cause affidavit, which is the arrest form, and the main police report.
Understood. And did you have an opportunity to review those reports before this deposition?
Yes.
Right. And if at any point during this deposition you need to refer to those reports for information, that's perfectly acceptable, but can you just please let me know?
Corey asked Officer McCarthy if she had the full report of the investigation she supposedly conducted, and she claimed that she did. But if you remember how quickly these things escalated, it's hard to believe. Let's just call this her first excuse to brush him off. Now let's hear how she described what happened up until they arrived.
When you're doing so we can discern whether you're testifying from the report or from your independent recollection.
Yes.
And do you have an independent recollection of this case?
I do.
All right. So why don't you start with how you became involved in this case?
We got a call about people inside a convenience store. Somebody had guns, and then somebody ran through the back door. So myself and Officer Carter arrived on scene, and we made contact with the store owner.
What do you recall the location of the incident?
Yeah, it's 1201 Sunset Strip.
And that's the Shop and Save convenience store?
Yes.
And you said you made contact with the owner?
Yeah, I think it's Mohammed Hussein, I believe.
Okay, and what did the owner tell you?
What Officer MacArthur didn't realize was that Corey was a sharp lawyer who knew exactly how to ask the right questions to get the truth out of her, even if she wasn't keen on sharing it. She might have tried to twist the story in her favor, but that's about to change, and the truth will start coming out.
He said that there was males inside the store with guns, and then somebody went running out of the back. So it was just kind of, he was working on video, which took quite an extended period of time. Just to kind of, because I think he described that there was a rifle that somebody had, and it seemed like there was a lot of people that were in there.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I should have asked you at the outset, what agency are you currently employed by?
City of Sunrise Police Department.
Right, and how long have you been with City of Sunrise?
6 years.
And in what capacity do you work for City of Sunrise?
A road patrol officer.
And have you ever worked for any of the law enforcement agencies?
No, I have not.
All right.
Officer McCarthy didn't really know what was going on, and from the start of her conversation with Corey, she got a serious reality check. Did you notice the uncertainty in her voice when she was talking to him? If you didn't, pay close attention, and you'll see that she keeps pausing like she's trying to pick just the right words.
Okay, so you described to me an altercation in the store and something about a rifle. Was that the extent of the information that was relayed to you at the time that you responded to the scene?
Yeah, for the most part, they said there was, juveniles in the store. They had guns. There wasn't an actual fight, but it's still concerning because there's weapons involved and there's people inside the store that have seen it. So, and then something about somebody running through the back. So, obvious thing concerned. Some possibly happened.
Right. Did the store owner say anything about anything being damaged in the store?
No.
Did he say anything that anything was stolen?
No.
Okay. So then what happened were you able to view the surveillance footage?
Officer McCarthy is now describing the situation as way more serious than it was, even mentioning some kind of weapon in the incident. In her mind, this justified her aggressive reaction, like it was a real emergency. But in reality, all she did was make herself look worse and show a different side of herself. And as you can guess, it wasn't a good one.
Yeah, not completely. They had a lot of trouble trying to pull it up, to rewind it, to get it back to the part. So we kept seeing bits and pieces of it. And from what we say, when I say we, I mean Officer Carter, who was my backup, that was also there. From what I saw is there was a juvenile black male. There was guys wearing ski masks. There was a juvenile black male that appeared to be juvenile that had a full-size rifle tucked inside of his pants with the butt of the rifle sticking out. And there was also another appeared to be juvenile black male that had a handgun in his waistband. That is what I viewed on, from them. It's like they couldn't play it, but I think we were standing there for like 20 minutes trying to get the video, but from the bits and pieces so something obviously isn't right. There's people in ski masks, there's people with guns. So something, it's definitely something that I can't just be like, all right, have a good day. I have to further investigate, especially dealing with weapons.
I understand. So then what happened after you saw that footage?
While we were still reviewing camera footage, there's two juvenile black males that happened to walk back in the store, and the store owner who was behind the clerk.
Officer McCarthy kept pointing out that the suspects on camera were two black individuals, which made it clear she was acting with a biased mindset. The moment she saw two guys with a different skin color than her, she assumed they were guilty, even though she had no reasonable grounds for it. However, she thought otherwise.
They were here. These are the kids. And Officer Carter and I start talking to him. They're like, what happened? Let's talk about this. And I can't recall if I asked, let's talk about this outside or whatnot, but they both start going out of the convenience store. The younger male, who I only knew as Quay, started running away, and then the other one, which is Christopher Holmes Wilson, kept walking away from me when I'm like, stop, let's talk about this. And he kept, I was giving him lawful commands to stop. And I eventually had to grab him and tell him that he wasn't free to leave. I was detaining him pending the investigation. So at that point, it's what's called reasonable suspicion that a crime A had occurred. That's after the fact, so that's where we're going with that. So that I need to further investigate that, if he's part of it, if he wasn't. And then obviously it turned into this whole big, we had to go hands-on. A taser got deployed. We went, it wasn't successful. We went hands-on again. Taser got deployed again, and then he was ultimately detained.
I hope you're starting to see just how absurd her whole story is. Someone needs to explain to her that just because there were two black individuals on the video doesn't mean everyone else with a different skin color than her is automatically a suspect. She had no reason to violate their right to privacy.
Quay, we were so busy dealing with Christopher that we never got to figure out where he went. So the only reason why he was arrested was because of resisting. So I had to finish my investigation. But Officer Carter, I know, did follow up the following day regarding the full video and everything. But I don't know the extent. So I basically just handled that.
So you referred to these individuals as Quay and Christopher Holmes Wilson. At the time that they walked into the store, did you know those individuals as Quay and Christopher Holmes Wilson?
No, I've never seen them before.
So you ascertained their identities after the fact, correct?
Correct.
And were those two individuals, were you able to identify them from the surveillance footage that was available to you?
Officer McCarthy realized that her story admitted that she'd violated their constitutional rights in the Fourth Amendment. Still, she refused to back down, so she changed the narrative yet again, this time trying to paint the two innocent guys as suspicious to justify her behavior. It was pretty foolish of her to think Corey wouldn't catch on.
From what I saw, it kept skipping so much, so I was not able. There was people wearing ski masks in there, so I didn't know if they were wearing ski masks. if they weren't. And it turns out after the fact, after I read Christopher Miranda and he kind of calmed down and told me the story, him and, Quay, they were actually the victims and everything. And they were trying to actually just get away from these guys that apparently were sitting outside in a car, which was, I think he said it was about like nine males in and out of a car. He saw a gun, and I guess Quay recognized them from school where they had beef with each other before. So I think they fled out the back to get away. But this could have been resolved extremely easily if he would have just stopped and talked to us and told us the story about everything, and we would have been able.
Officer McCarthy claimed that the guy she arrested and his friend seemed suspicious, which supposedly led to her thinking they were suspects, but that was a lie. If you remember from the start of the video, the workers clearly told her these guys weren't involved in the fight, they were just in the store when it happened.
We were right there basically getting the video so we could validate if his story was true. And there would have never been an arrest. There would have probably been a report written because there's obviously weapons involved. So.
Okay. All right. So, the question that I believe that I last asked you was, were you able to identify the individuals that walked into the store who you later identified as Quay and Christopher Holmes Wilson on their surveillance footage? And I believe that your answer was no, correct?
There was so many people in there that I was not able to make an ID because I did not fully get to watch the video in its entirety. Because I kept skipping.
At the time those individuals walked into the store, you were not able to identify them on the surveillance footage, correct?
It's clear Officer McCarthy's story is starting to fall apart. It's only a matter of time before she's buried in her own mess. But nothing stops her from saying that everything could have been different and that no one would have been arrested if the guys had just talked to her. The real issue? They didn't have to talk to her at all.
I couldn't fully see the surveillance footage, so I wasn't able to make a positive identification. But with the owner of the store saying they were here before, these are the kids. They pointed it out. That's enough reasonable suspicion on my part.
Can I just continue
to further investigate, and they're no longer free to leave.
Officer, while I really appreciate you educating me on the law, I'm just asking you very simple questions about whether or not you had identified those individuals by the time they walked into the store. So I believe the answer that I ascertained was no, you had not identified those individuals yet, correct?
Correct, because we were still investigating.
Right. Thank you. Okay. But you did say that the owner had identified those individuals, right?
Yes.
Okay. And did the owner identify those individuals as individuals who had been in...
Corey had a question for Officer McCarthy that would blow her mind. He asked if she could see on camera that people she arrested didn't match those involved in the conflict. They already knew the answer was yes. This was just the first of many yes or no questions that Officer McCarthy dodged, choosing instead to spin a completely different story.
Possession of firearms?
All he said is that they were there earlier.
Okay. And is it against the law to be present at the scene of an altercation?
Do you want to expand on that?
It's a very simple question, yes or no.
What type of altercation? I don't know where you're going.
Okay. In the absence of any other facts that suggest that a person broke the law, is it against the law to merely be present at the scene of an altercation, even where guns may have been involved?
It depends. If the owner did not point to them, then they wouldn't have been. I had no clue that they were involved until the owner said they were here earlier. Which now that obviously you're no longer, he possibly committed a crime. So that just...
Honestly, my favorite moment is when Corey asked Officer McCarthy what crime the young guy was arrested for, and she can't come up with an answer. That alone says a lot about the legitimacy of her actions, doesn't it? Don't worry, Officer McCarthy will try a few wriggle out before finally admitting something truly unsettling.
Possibly, but could you articulate a crime at that point? Because you told me that...
We're still investigating.
Right.
That's why reasonable suspicion, because we're still investigating. If I have somebody saying these kids were here earlier, and I have video that I watched where there's clearly people in ski masks with guns carrying weapons inside of a convenience store, something happened. So,
Arthur, I think you might want to brush up on reasonable suspicion, because it's not reasonable suspicion in general. It's reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime. So,
right.
So can you
we're
please,
still investigating.
Right, but can you please articulate the crime that you originally detained Christopher Holmes Wilson for?
He was originally detained because we were still investigating if there's weapons violations, if there was a fight, if there was an actual altercation that happened regarding...
Did you ever see Miss...
Corey asked Officer McCarthy if she thought she had a lawful right to do what she did, and her response was pretty interesting. Not only that, but she seemed to gain a lot of confidence she hadn't shown earlier in the conversation. I guess she thought she handled everything just fine and that this would all blow over soon.
Mr. Wilson in possession of a firearm?
When I made contact with him, no, he did not have weapons.
Did anybody ever tell you that Mr. Wilson was ever in possession of a firearm?
Me talking to him and actually going physically hands-on with him, he did not have a weapon. Nobody told me that.
Did even the store owner tell you that that Mr. Wilson was involved, that was in possession of a firearm?
He only pointed. He only said
he was present, correct?
Right here. I'm sorry.
And the store owner merely said that he was present at the store, right?
He said that they were here earlier, and I needed to find out what their involvement was.
Right. You believe that you had a lawful duty to do that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Officer McCarthy thought it was smart to wrap up by saying her instincts wouldn't let her just let the guys walk out of the store. Honestly, that should have been her first sign that maybe being a cop wasn't just the best fit for her, because clearly her intuition wasn't on point. But then Corey asked her a question she didn't want to answer.
There's people where there's guns, there's people wearing ski masks that we don't know who their identity is, and then you have two, people that come back into the store when it's been like a 30-minute time delay, and, they're there, the owner's saying they were just here. It's not the first, we've had a lot of incidents at the convenience store, so obviously there's something, I'm not okay with just being like, oh, okay, and just letting them go. I needed to find out their involvement, but when they started walking away and running away, that's a little clue to me that something's not right.
All right, but can you at least agree with me that if they were not lawfully detained, they did not have to, they were free to leave?
At that point, they're not free to leave.
But what I'm asking you is, let's just assume that they were not lawfully detained. Would Mr. Wilson have had a right to leave the convenience store?
What do you mean by lawfully detained, like in handcuffs?
No, I'm asking you, if you didn't have reasonable articulable suspicion to suspect that Mr. Wilson was committing, had committed, or was about to commit a crime, would he have been free to leave the convenience store?
Okay, in this call, I had reasonable suspicion, so he was lawfully detained at that point. He was not free to leave.
Okay, Officer McCarthy, I understand that is your position, but are you refusing to answer my question?
Corey wasn't about to let this slide, so he asked Officer McCarthy the same question again, this time with more detail to make sure she'd actually answer. But she had another. This one was her worst yet.
That I've asked you is.
But you're not giving me a little bit more details. There's a whole scenario that would go with it.
We could certify the question and bring it up to the judge if you'd prefer, or you could just...
Sure.
All right, cool. So, court reporter, can we please certify the question of whether the question was that if Mr. Wilson had not been lawfully detained, would he have been free to leave? Has the question been certified?
Yep.
Thank you, court reporter. And just to be clear, you're not asserting any legal privilege as to your refusal to answer that question?
So there just needs to be more detail about that, because it's the reason why I was there and when I was investigating, I know I had reasonable suspicion that he was no longer free to leave, and if you want to give me a different scenario, then we can go with it. But
I'm not sure how much more clear that I can be.
Present at the convenience store.
Officer McCarthy, I'm asking in the hypothetical. This really has. All right, let's not even talk about Mr. McCarthy. Let's just say that an individual who is not lawfully detained, are they allowed to leave? Are they allowed to walk away from you even though you're telling them to leave?
Can you believe Officer McCarthy claimed Corey hadn't explained his question clearly enough and that she needed even more details to answer? It's honestly ridiculous. What wasn't clear? She was just trying to buy time, though it wouldn't help her much anyway. To her surprise, Corey had all the time in the world to explain the question yet again.
Just dealing with the public with a consensual encounter?
Like, okay, let's say that you and I encounter each other in public, and you tell me to stop, and I start walking away.
Yeah, you're allowed to leave because I have no crime on you.
Perfect. I think you just made my point.
That's what you're going with. But at that point, I can't validate that he wasn't involved in a crime. So that is reasonable suspicion because there's enough to articulate from the owner pointing out that the two kids were there, coupled with video.
I'm not gonna lie, that is scary to me. That is scary that you think that you could detain just anybody while you investigate like what potentially could be a crime. You need to have reasonable articulation.
Yes, especially dealing with weapons. So
no weapons were recovered. Correct. In fact, he was actually charged with resisting without violence. Right.
Correct. Without. Yeah.
Officer McCarthy had no choice but to admit guilt. I told you Corey would get her to spill the truth, even if she didn't want to. Once he knew he'd broken through her defenses, Corey kept pressing and she finally revealed the details we had all been waiting for, the ones we couldn't see on video.
So I never got to finish my investigation because of the resisting charges.
So let's talk about what actually happened after the fact. So he obviously attempted to walk away from you, right?
Yes.
And what did you do?
I told him to stop. He disobeyed. He kept walking away, and I finally had to grab him and let him know that he's not free to leave. And then he started bracing and tensing and resisting. And then we got into a physical struggle that eventually led to Officer Carter deploying his taser.
He got into a physical struggle, but to be clear, once again, he's charged with resisting without violence. So
Officer McCarthy admitted something shocking. She had even used a taser on the guy who had done absolutely nothing wrong that day. But as you might expect, this was just a lead into yet another excuse. Honestly, at her age, she should just own up to her actions instead of piling on more lies.
When you say that, do you mean that you got into a physical struggle with him?
So I would hit him with violence if he was trying to physically attack me. He was bracing and tensing and resisting my attempts to detain him in handcuffs.
Right. So you got into a physical struggle with a man who was attempting to mind his own business.
Right. Well, that's what you think. He was obviously there, placed at the scene that something happened, and that's what I was trying to figure out. And for him to walk away and the other one to start running away, that doesn't sit well with me. And I need to verify that a crime did not occur, that he was part of something where a crime did not occur.
Okay. And what was the need to take him to the ground?
That's a better way to detain somebody.
Officer MacArthur even had the nerve to lie, claiming the guy she arrested was physically aggressive and that she had used the taser to calm him before arresting him. Is she trying to say that as an armed cop with an armed partner, she needed to use the taser on the young guy who just wanted to avoid talking to him?
In handcuffs.
Oh, in handcuffs?
Yes.
Right. And what was the need to put him in handcuffs?
I'm sorry?
What was the need to put him in handcuffs?
Because he's resisting.
Oh, so you were arresting him at that point?
So if he wanted to talk to me, no, he was detained, but because he's resisting, he's taking a ride. He's going to jail. If he doesn't want to cooperate with my investigation because he's not free to leave and he keeps wanting to resist, he's going to have to take the ride. So if he would have just stood there in the convenience store or went outside and spoke to me, he would have never gotten put in handcuffs. We could have resolved everything and he would have been on his way.
All right. But I'm just, so let's just be clear though, but when did the need to take him to the ground arise?
That was the moment it was over, and Officer McCarthy knew it, but her ego wouldn't let her back down, so she tried one last time to talk her way out. Deep down, though, she knew the end was near, and that nothing she said could save her image, no matter how hard she tried.
Because he kept resisting, we went hands-on, we couldn't get him to the ground, and verbal commands to stop resisting, to get on the ground. Usually it's just with police training that you want to take somebody to the ground because it's easier to control them.
Okay. But you're saying that he was resisting as of the moment he started walking away, right?
Yes.
So therefore he would have been under arrest as of that moment, right?
It depends on if he wants to comply. There's also discretion with law enforcement, but it depends on if he wants to comply. Because a lot of people are afraid of the police. I understand that. But if he wants to walk away and then, just not even acknowledge, my loud verbal commands for him to stop, and then when he wants to brace and tense and to further resist.
Before listening to the rest of Officer McCarthy's excuses, let's take another look at the body cam footage showing the moments right before the young man's arrest. Now, after everything she said, it's clear she's not just a bad cop, she's a bad person. Cops like her, who think they can act however they want and make up a story later, are dangerous and shouldn't be on the force.
He's no longer free to leave, which he wasn't free to leave to begin with.
Right. And what was the need to deploy a taser?
Because he kept resisting. We could not detain him in handcuffs, so we went to a less lethal. There was no weapon.
You considered lethal force at any point in time during this interaction?
We went to a less lethal. That's a taser. A taser is a less lethal weapon. There was never lethal force.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
All right. So, but again, so the taser was deployed when he was already on the ground, though, right?
No, he was standing up.
And but he wasn't on the ground when he already was. The taser was deployed twice, though.
Yep.
So the second time.
As for her story about the young guy being aggressive, well, the body cam footage clearly shows that's not true either. He wasn't even rude. He just wanted to stand up for his rights, and honestly, more people should follow his example. The more citizens who defend their rights, the fewer tyrant cops will have.
It was deployed when it actually made contact with him. He was on the ground, right?
I'd have to refer back to my report to look at that.
Please do.
Sure. Okay, so the second taser deployment, I remember that Christopher was by a car. He initially got tased when he was up, and then he fell to the ground, and then I detained him in handcuffs.
So at no point was he ever tased when he was on the ground?
No.
And does your department have body-worn camera?
Yes, we do.
All right, was it in use during the time of this altercation?
In the conversation that followed, McCarthy explained she used her taser twice, once while the guy was standing and a second time when he was already on the ground. You think any of that was necessary? What kind of punishment should Officer McCarthy face? If you thought today's video was wild, just wait to see even crazier footage of cops we got lined up for you in the next one. Get ready to be shocked even more.